Good morning and welcome back to the Service Business Mastery Podcast. I am one half of the dynamic duo, and sitting next to me virtually is Tersh, who is the founder and the reason a lot of people have joined the podcast space. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic it's a little bit of a subtopic in the branding space because we talk about branding a lot, branding your business, your trucks, those types of things, but how do we give that brand a voice and give it life so that way through social media, through all of your other marketing efforts, that brand has something to say to your customers and that messaging is consistent. So today we have with us Cassie from Quality Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing in the Oklahoma area. And she's become quite a popular figure for women in HVAC and just in HVAC in general. She is going to be speaking at Pantheon, which I believe is next month. I'm sorry, next month. I think it's in April. Is that right? So I know Tersh branding and stuff like this. This is obviously something you put a lot of effort into with your trucks and wraps and your business. Do you have any thoughts on the topic at all?
Yeah, one of the things that really stuck with me, and I can't remember who told me this, so I don't know who to attribute this quote to, but basically, it at the point where you are just sick and tired of seeing and hearing about your brand, that's when the general public and the masses are just starting to recognize it. And so, if you don't wear your brand every day, if you're not branding like every time you turn around, do you really love your brand? Like, do you really, is it really your brand, or is it just the next advertisement that you're going to wear?
I mean, I think if you don't have a tattoo of your brand somewhere on your body, you're doing it wrong.
All right, so let's see yours.
You can't see mine.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so I'm excited, and I love what Cassie's done, and their whole team, and it's awesome. And you and I, we probably see it more than a lot of people, but to see Cassie and other women in the trades and see what they're doing, it's massive. Like, both of our spouses, Brittany and Julie, they are really active in our business, and they're both working right now so that we can make the podcast happen. And so we're super thankful to them for doing that and being willing to be a part of the trades. I took mine out of the medical field, and so she was a nurse and was really good, and she's still good at it. She's still a nurse in the Air National Guard. But I took her out of that field and brought her into the trades, and she hasn't stopped. She hasn't looked back. And it's been a really cool experience. And a huge shout out. Yesterday was the International Women's Day. I want to say Women in Trades Day, but it's just Women's Day.
Yeah, it's International Women's Day, which, I mean, honestly, and this is why we're talking about this, and we're going to have another episode with somebody else here in a little while about something a little different, but women bring such a unique vision to these things that men we just don't see. We've been doing certain things a certain way for so long. A lot of times, I think it's time for men to just kind of step aside, let some women shine through, because they have some amazing ideas.
Yep.
And that's what we'll be talking about here shortly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you looking for valuable business advice to reach that 7-figure revenue mark? Do you want actionable tips to properly navigate through every business challenge you encounter along the way? Let Tersh Blissett and Josh Crouch be your guide in getting you to the top here at Service Business Mastery. Tune in as they sit down with world-renowned authors in business, leadership, and personal growth who share valuable insights about management, marketing, pricing, human resources, and so much more. Let their nuggets of wisdom gold guide you in owning a thriving, profitable, and ever-growing business. Here are your hosts, Tersh and Josh.
Hey, Cassie. Oh, can you hear me? Oh, there you go. You're muted.
Now
Josh?
I'm muted.
There we go.
Josh is pushing buttons over here.
I'm sorry. I cut Tersh off. I need an assistant.
I feel that.
Welcome, Cassie.
He was talking about wearing your brand daily, and I'm talking about my brand, and I'm not. I do wear my brand a lot, and so I was like, "Where's my name tag?"
I thought you were gonna whip out like a sleeve tattoo or something of the Quality Heating brand.
Well, it's on there, but next time it drives me crazy with the lights. I'm gonna have to ditch it, or I'll be too distracted.
Yeah. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So, share with us a little bit about your background for those who have never heard of you, never heard your brand, never seen your brand. Share that that experience that you just coming from getting into the trades to where you are now.
So I've been in the industry since about 2014. Everyone's like, the question is, how did you get here? What brought you to the trades? The obvious answer is I married that fine man, right? So married him in 2013, and he was had been in the industry for at that point, about 20 years. I was a manager for Best Buy at that point, and had been at Best Buy for like 8 years, and had no intentions of doing anything else. We got married, and I decided that retail life was a little more demanding for a now married person. And so I started doing some different things. And so my background has always stayed true to HR and sales, people management. And so in 2014, I came on with Oscar right as the business came out of the gates, and have been doing the thing since then. And so we have learned a lot of lessons through those years, a lot of trial and error, a lot of big mistakes, a lot of little mistakes. And so that's it. That's the story there. As far as our branding goes, we started out with just a basic logo, paid $50 for a logo, and went out and
I think that's how a lot of people start. They start with something, right? You got to start somewhere and have something.
Yep.
Now, did you was Quality already in creation whenever you when you got married, or?
Yeah. Yeah, he had Oscar had worked for a commercial company for several years, and they allowed him to operate a residential business.
Okay.
And so he did that. But then at some point that became him working about 20 hours a day. And so he made the decision on which piece he was going to stay. And so he had been in management for a bit previously, or for a while, and just had to make that jump on either stay in that commercial piece, or make the jump and do it for himself. And then, everyone always says, well, how long did he do that before you jumped in? When he went full time, I came behind him within about like 30 days, because when he went full time, he really truly had already been full time.
Yeah.
He was just juggling two operations.
So at what point did you rebrand? Like, what was your was there somebody saying, hey, look, your first brand was good to get you started, but you really need to go with a better looking design or something like that?
It's a funny story, actually, because we had this logo, and I almost ban it. We almost ban it. So I don't even know if I have anything that could show you. But it was decent, and we were partial. It had served a great purpose for us. And so whenever we started working with Dan, and Dan will hurt your feelings.
And that's Dan.
I've never seen Dan do that when he sees some of these trucks out there.
No, yeah. He will hurt your feelings, and he's just like, okay, so I know you like it, but we don't, And so, no, he's not too harsh, but we were so partial to the brand, to what we had, and I kept saying, well, we have a brand, and he's like, no, you have a logo. I'm like, okay. And so my team, they thought we were crazy. I remember we didn't really talk to anyone about that process. We were just going to change the logo. And then I introduced it in the team meeting, and they're all like, why are you doing this? Like, what is this? And I about panic. I'm like, we can't do it. We've just wasted this money. We can't do it because the team isn't going to be bought into it. And Then within about 30 days, they were all like, I can't believe we didn't do that sooner.
So tell me this, because we did something similar when we rebranded. We went through a similar experience. What did you do with all of the old branded stuff? Did you just trash it, or did you keep using it until and just didn't replenish it? Or
it was immediate. So when we made the flip from the old logo to the new logo, everything went immediately. So in my personal life, everything left.
Yeah.
Like I have 2 shirts and like a jacket for like.
Yep. Yeah.
They're sitting in the back part of the closet. They're still there, but they're not going to be used.
Yeah. Any like for the company, like T-shirts, anything that we had, we put them in a big box, and the team could grab them for like mowing shirts and undershirts, but they still weren't allowed to wear them even as an undershirt to work, because you know how often we'll take off your button down for a little bit because it's hot, or you sweat through it or whatever. And I didn't want that to be the wrong logo. And so every once in a while, someone who's been here for a while will pop in with an old jacket, and I'm like, I will sew a patch on top of that. Like, so it had to be, for me, it had to be a hard and fast rule of a switch and no turning back.
Cassie, can I ask you, so what size were you guys when you guys decided to do this?
When we changed, we did
like number of employees or revenue, whatever you want to share.
7 or 8 employees, maybe. Kelly is listening, and her desk is right there, so I'll keep waiting for her to be like, you know. When we were rebranding, we were about 3 million in revenue and at like 7.
Okay.
Do you feel like that was a good time to do that, or like in reality, should you have tried doing that at day one? Because we all know that a brand, getting a real brand that's going to last through the ages is not a $50 investment. So if you were just starting out your business, do you think it would be a good justification to go ahead and make that investment at that point? Or do you think that you need to, are you okay with being a couple $1 million or even $1 million before you tried rebranding?
You know, like on this side of it, yeah, I wish we would have done it from day one. But the truth is we wouldn't have had the guts to do it.
Yeah.
Because whenever you're starting the new business, you're betting everything. And so you're already thinking about everything else. And you're just like, how could I possibly put that much money or any money into that when I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow, you know? And I know plenty of people who have very basic, respectfully, very basic, who do great. So,
yeah.
And at that point, you know, looking back, I think that I would have loved to have done it differently, but I think doing it at the time that we did was the right time anyways.
Cool. Yeah, I often have questions about that because I have tons of friends who have used Dan and Kick Charge to do their brand, and it's a full range of the gamut. Like I have some friends who they didn't have an employee yet, and they used them to create a brand and a really lasting brand and impression. And then I have other friends who were at the $7-10 million range, and they used them. And then there's others with massive companies and they're rebranding. So anytime I see anybody that's gone through a rebrand, I always want to ask that, like, do you regret not doing it sooner? And hindsight's 2020. Like we all are like, oh yeah, I wish I would have done this a long time ago. But I mean, if you did it a long time ago and then it failed, would it would it have? Josh, is that your dog barking? Get that dog.
Yeah, I tried to mute myself there. My sister-in-law is coming over to pick up Brittany right now. So sorry, my boxer and Pitbull are in the background. They're trying to get on the podcast.
What do you mean? You're just like a real person and you're not in the soundproof studio?
Right?
Yeah.
It's not fancy. It's not fancy at all. I'm in the basement.
I love it.
You know,
So,
I can
Casey,
hear the phone's ringing.
Casey, tell us Casey, I said
You
this
suck
like
with names, man.
12 times yesterday.
My life.
I swore I was going to be like, I'm not even going to say her name because it's going to come out Casey. And because Josh corrects me every time I say it. Cassie, I'm sorry. Whenever you have something really awesome with billboards, can you kind of share what that is and what made you think of this? Like, how did you, because that's not a normal kind of advertising, I guess is the best way to say it.
You know, so for us, I recognize that we really weren't in that billboard space, and I wanted to be. So in the day-to-day business, I handle all of the marketing. And so I bounced ideas off of Oscar and the rest of the team, but I handle that. That's like my day-to-day gig. And so I really wanted to put us out there onto billboards, but if you're from the Oklahoma area, there was a company that's prominently on billboards, number one. And so I wasn't sure if my one or two billboards could compete and what that was going to look like. And then, you know, truly, most heat and air companies, plumbing companies, it's like insert plumbing heat and air company name here, 2 dudes on the billboard.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
And respectfully, like I have some very good friends that are the 2 dudes on the billboards in Tulsa and nationally, right? Like I love you guys and I get it and it works, but I didn't want to be just me and Oscar on the billboard. We've done that. And you know, then I'm like, man, I did that once and then I changed hair colors and it was like, who is that on the billboard?
That's
and
tough.
I got into it, you know. And so I wanted to just really think about how we could deliver who we are truly on a billboard that someone's going to see. And knowing that someone's going to see it for like 5 seconds and then roll past it and they might see it, you know, a couple of times a week, but what story am I telling them? And so I really started just trying to think about who we are as a person or as a company, I'm sorry. And our number one core value is to serve people. We've always done that. And we have always, you know, I think the community knows that we donate to all the sports, to the local school, to the food bank. And they know we do that. And we don't talk about it. I'm not here for like, clout or the whatever that, you know, the recognition for that. We just lead from our heart. But one thing I felt like maybe we were missing when it came to our mission of serving people was just what else that meant besides money, you know, and we really want to get down to the nitty down to everything with our team. And so into with our group. And so in our community. So for me, it was, let's get on a billboard and let's celebrate the people in our area. And so we're putting these people on the billboard. We have an email address that you can submit your picture and your celebration. So like this week, there's three different celebrations. They're all birthdays. And so what's really cool is that they're going up around town. And then we post them. So they know they changed over today, actually. And so we post them and then we put the locations of the billboards because they kind of change throughout the month. And then these people are going to the billboard and taking a picture with it and putting it on social media and tagging their friends. And then that's getting shared. And so it was
you can't pay for that kind of advertising.
Yeah. So, you know, it was really, it grew, it evolved. It just evolved in a way that I didn't expect it to. The heart of it was, we love this community, period. That was the heart of it. Let's, you know, these kids and really everybody, we've celebrated a wedding on this billboard already. We've celebrated bachelor degrees. And then, you know, these kids too, when they get on, or, you know, they're 8 or 10, 16, they're so excited. They're on a billboard, you know, I was on a billboard. And
hey, so Cassie, would you mind if I shared my other screen here and showed kind of what that looks like? Because I remember when I first saw you come out with this idea, I'm like, it's freaking brilliant. Like, because we used to do yard sign contests and have like pictures, like a happy customer next to yard sign. And that got some good traction, but this is like a whole nother level. I just want people. So if you're listening to this, I would definitely try to go to the Facebook group for quality heating, cooling, and plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so simple. Like the design is so simple. There's no like, hey, buy stuff from us, call us for this tune-up. It is literally celebrating their customers and people in the local market.
Mm-hmm.
Who from Emmett's family doesn't want to share this to
Right.
everybody they know because it's cute, right?
Yeah.
I just love the idea and how simple it is. And the billboard looks great. I mean, the brand really pops on there.
I have to tell you, I had submitted it and then I told Dan, and then Dan's like, no. So Dan helped me redesign it. I love him. I love my relationship with Dan because he knows I'm not going to take him personal, and we make some changes. But yeah, so he helped us with that design on the billboard, and then we throw those up there. Those are just like the proofs that I get. So we put out 3 a week. And then we put the proof out onto social so it can be shared. And then in all of the comments it's visible to see like where the billboard location is.
Now, these are all digital, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they change every Tuesday. Every once in a while, we will leave one up a little bit longer for a longer celebration or something.
Gotcha. That's cool. And
no, it's really cool.
Now, whenever you started that up and you started the celebration and everything, what like explain that process? Like, how did that flow? Like, my thought is like, someone would be like, no, I don't want to be up there. Or like, did you ask for them? Like, for obviously, like probably somebody local, like kind of share that story, like, because starting that whole process out and then getting the email address set up for it and all that stuff.
So I knew what I wanted it to look like, but I knew it was going to take a minute for people to understand what I was doing. And so I didn't want to fake it either and just put fake celebrations up there. And so we sent it out to our team first. And so I sent out to the team and was like, hey, do any of you have a birthday, an anniversary, your child's birthday, your wife's birthday, anything coming up? And so that was the first round were employees' birthdays, or employees' children's birthdays. That was the first round. And then at that point, it's just, I haven't had, every once in a while, I won't have one. We won't have one in the box, in the email box. And so I'll post on social again and share it a little bit. But most of the time we have them filled just from that email. Last week we didn't have, I want to do at least 3. And so last week we didn't have the full 3. And so I put in that white box, instead of a picture of a person, I put, want to be featured, and put the email on it.
And that was successful with getting more people to come into the box. Like, so you can see that people are actually paying attention to the billboard. Billboards aren't dead, is what my point is there.
Yeah, they are. And it's funny because if you would have talked to me a year or 2 years or 3 years ago,
you would say it didn't work.
Waste of time. The truth is billboards are hard. There's no way to track an ROI on a billboard. You don't know. It's just like, truthfully, on a truck wrap, the wrap looks great, and they're probably going to say that they saw your truck, but which one? you know?
Right.
And so it's just hard to track a true ROI on it, but ultimately it's just fulfilling the brand, and we're staying constant in the area with the brand.
Yeah,
and explain what that means, though. Like, explain what staying consistent and staying constant with your brand, like, is it like just putting a logo on a truck and that's it, putting a billboard sign and that gets enough traction, or is there more to it?
For us, the brand is who we are through and through. How we eat, sleep, and breathe. The words that come out of our mouth, how we portray ourselves in the customer's home, how we portray ourselves on social media, with our ads and all of our advertisements. The message is still the same, that we, number one, ultimately are here to provide a solution to the customer. And then that we are who we say we are. We're someone that you can trust. I was actually getting my hair done yesterday. Looking good.
Looks
It
great.
looks nice.
I was getting my hair done yesterday, and the lady sitting next to me just happened to need a plumber. And I sat there and I listened because I was like, I know my hair lady's going to say something. So I'm just like, I'm just going to sit here and wait. And I sat there, and the story she's telling about who she's been dealing with, I don't know who it is, but it was multiple companies and it was multiple people who had let the experience or let them down. So now that they're not trusting the any plumbers, they're not trusting any. And that's the story of the trades, right? I feel like we for so long have had to bring the value back in what we're doing. And so I just sat and listened to her about, they didn't show up or they didn't call me back, and then they didn't quote it, and then they told me they would. And then now I don't trust them at all. And so for us, our brand starts with at the top of all of that. Like we want you to trust us. We want you to know that when you call us, like our logo has that Q. And someone asked me the other day, well, what's that star mean? And I'm like, man, that star is like the company. We are providing that 5-star experience every time. That's our goal. And so our brand just wraps into all of that.
What's been the community feedback? I know you have people reach out like, hey, I want to put my son or daughter or my wedding or whatever on the billboards, but what has been the feedback like your team has been getting, like your technicians out in the field? Do they bring back feedback for you?
Our team, when we first, we use Teams, Microsoft Teams to communicate. And I remember like I had asked for the celebrations, but I didn't really tell them what it was for. I said, hey, does anyone have any of these things coming up? If you do, message me. And so no one knew. And then I just threw the billboards up. And so we have Microsoft Teams. And I remember one of the guys pulled over and took a picture of the billboard and was like, hey, we're out here, And so, and it's just like fulfilling for me to know that they feel proud that they work for this company and that we're being recognized. We're recognizing them. We're recognizing their spouses and their family and their friends. And another thing I should mention is to be featured on our billboard, we can feature anyone. We do try to stick with 3 to 4 a week. However, the priority, our club members take priority. So if we have 7,
that's cool.
If you're a club member, you are a priority on being featured on the billboard. And so, our guys talk about that now with club membership. Hey, you can be on our billboard, not necessarily that wasn't meant to be the benefit, but those our club members are our team, our family too.
So back to your brand, explain like your technician uniform. Is it pretty lax or are you very strict about it? Like everywhere that I've worked in the past in my business, like if the guys can get away with it, if I feel like they will
absolutely try.
They will wear their random hat. And so it's like, all right, guys, I see that you don't want to wear this hat that I purchased. What style do you like so that I can buy that? And then I have a whole row of different random fitted trucker hats, like all these other ones. And so like, there's no excuse anymore for them to wear their random whatever Yeti hat and with a fish hook in it. Now they can wear one of our branded ones. And so explain your uniform process and that, because that's part of your brand too, is making sure your guys are consistently in uniform.
Yeah. So there's the residential team is the field team has a black pants, a gray button-up shirt with the logo, their name on it. Super nice quality. We're super excited about it. It was a new product that was through our company that we use. Black belt, black boots, a hat. The option is a hat or no hat, but if it's a hat, it's a quality hat. And we're sticklers on that for sure. And so, in fact, we don't even really let them wear hoodies because hoodies get sloppy and slouchy real quickly.
Good point.
Oklahoma's weird with weather, and this year we just really haven't had a winter. And so this morning we had an insurance benefits meeting, and it's cold, and so I'm like, guys, you got like 3 more days on the hoodies, and the next week we're ditching them because it's not uniform. And so when we buy the hoodies, everyone gets a hoodie every year, but we the rule is you can't wear them to work. Therefore, your free time. And then it gets cold, and then when we start layering, because with their uniform, they do have a uniform jacket and a uniform zip hoodie that's through the uniform company. But when they start layering, I get it. I don't want you to freeze. But I am very hardcore about a uniform. And I will tell you right now that came from Best Buy. I'm like, guys, I'm a product of that. And so I was manager at Best Buy for 8 years. Apparently, I still love blue. I have a lot of staff that works for this company that previously worked for Best Buy. And I think about them all the time, especially when I'm trying to mimic things I'm trying to do here. The uniform was a non-negotiable. You could not walk in and work your shift in a different shirt. And so that's the same thing here. And so it's a non-negotiable. I will, they get so many hats a year for free, but if I walk by you and your hat's filthy and you just haven't bought one because you didn't want it, I'm going to give you another one for free because I will trade it, and I'm going to take it away and I'm going to throw it away because, you sweat through them and then they start looking crazy. And then we have guys, our hats aren't the exact same. We've got some that are, the logo's on the left, some in the middle, the different colors. So we try to switch it up with the hats, but they're still
quality hats.
Yeah, still quality. And,
the right logo.
Yeah. And then going back to the style, anybody who truly wears a hat on a regular basis knows that the Richardson 112 is the hat.
Yeah.
We don't buy it if it's not a Richardson 112. I don't even it anymore. In fact, we order like 150 at a time because of shipping delays and issues. Right. So we order 150 at a time. We normally sell like 75 the first day. And then as soon as we get that order, we order another 150. So we're prepared. I've made the mistake of buying a cheaper hat or the Richardson 112 replica.
Oh yeah, no.
Not the same.
Yeah, we buy Richardson the same thing, and the feedback that I get, and some guys wanted fitted hats, and I was like, you know what, I'll buy, and I have a slew of these different Richardson styles of hats but I did find the same thing. Like I tried getting cheap one time, and then it was nobody wore it. They stayed on the shelf forever, and I was like, okay, that just wasted.
Well, and then we had a few people that wanted like a true flat bill.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I have right here.
They're so thick. They're not.
It is a very thick hat.
It's a thicker hat, and then they don't breathe as well. So we stick with the Richardson 112 for sure.
Makes sense. Somebody asked in the chat, when you're selling them to your guys, how much are you selling them for? Are you just whatever the cost is on the
cost? Okay. We don't mark those up at all.
Yeah.
If we bought them, and honestly, we used to say they're $15. Well, now they might be $16.25 because, or whatever, because the costs are continually changing. But we don't put anything on top.
Yeah.
Admin fee or any. It's just straight the cost of them, and then we give away a ton of hats. So we were at a football game one day, and I was like, everyone sitting in this section has a quality hat on, and I don't know any of them. So I love that. And so sometimes our team will buy extra hats to pass out to their family. And so we try to keep them right at cost.
Have you ever thought about offering the swag, because your brand is a great brand, and have you thought about, because we get asked this from time to time, hey, I want that hoodie that you have, that your guy has, or your hat. Where can I buy one of those from? Have you ever considered doing something like that, like on your website or something?
Yeah, we've talked about that a few times, and I don't know. It's part of me is like, do they really,
Right.
And then, so no, we haven't. A lot of times when people call and they're like, hey, can I get a hoodie or a hat? Most of the time I'm like, yeah, come by and get one, because that's another advertisement, really.
If they're willing to wear it, then
how many more people are going to see that brand and bring it into their family, and people are going to mention or say something about it?
We're in Oklahoma, and we've all seen the older men that have the cowcell hat on, and that's those older men are my family. That's what I'm saying. And so now I trade them. I'm like, wear my hat, and so I love to see that. I love, even, it makes me laugh. Like, have you guys watched the Tiger King?
Yes.
Exotic. Okay, that's in Oklahoma, right? The whole time that dude is wearing that Swadley, I think it's Swadley car dealership, and it's like that guy gave that hat away, and it's like, so I'm sitting here thinking like this dealership is still in business. Is he happy or not? Like, is this a good look for him? But ultimately, it was literally like thousands of hours or hundreds of hours of advertising because the guy wore the hat the whole series, you know. So.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I got we skipped over a question.
Okay.
From
Yeah.
Rich.
I was actually going to ask that. If you don't have that, if you're not and going off of what Rich said here, if you don't have billboards, if you're not in the billboard game, what's your advice to the people that are considering doing it, or they're in a demographic area that billboards just aren't really a feasible thing, like in New York City, for instance?
Yeah. Honestly, I think that you could celebrate people wherever you want. If you're going off of my design or my, this idea specifically, you can celebrate them wherever you want. You can celebrate them, make a yard sign. That would be a cool idea. It would maybe not so, you couldn't change it so frequently. Or like maybe you'd have to print a picture. Social media is a really good place. Like we get a ton of shares on social media. I posted this morning the 3 new billboards for the week, and those have already been started to get shared of, hey, go see my daughter's billboard here. These are the locations. And even if you weren't sharing the bill, that there's a billboard, just celebrating those people and just showing your commitment back to the community. So, soft subject. Private equity is purchasing a lot, right? And respectfully, that's fine. Private equity does not own our company, and we are still very much locally owned, and that is what we will keep delivering that. And doing that is how committed we are to our community. The owners of this company still live right here with you. We're still sitting on the sidelines with you at the football games. We're still donating money to your children's youth sports. We know your names. And so sharing that commitment with the community and sharing in their celebrations really just drives that back in of your commitment to them.
That's a great point. I have Josh and I have talked about this a lot. We've even talked about it on the podcast, and I've asked different individuals who both have experience being purchased by VC or PE, and people who are thinking about doing it now, and people who are really smart in that field. Like, how do you have the advertisement? How do you share with people whenever your competition all around you is getting purchased by these companies? And it's exactly like you just explained there. Like, it's still family owned. We're still local business. And it's VC is not new, but it's new to our space, and newish to our space.
This round is coming really hard, but yes, it's not new, but it's.
But Oscar has been in the industry for 27 years, and he's like, Cassie, I've seen this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was in the commercial industry in like 2008, and he rode right through it, and dealt with it. And so it's not new, and I have no disrespect. Anyone who's in the social media groups with me, they're probably like, girl, you were fired up one day. And I was. I was fired up one day. But you got to do what you got to do, and you go the route that you feel is best for your business. For us, Oscar and I have always been very focused on building a business that we could be proud of and that we could say that we did. We are first generation of in our families of doing anything like this, of being business owners, and being able to say that we did this is a much bigger piece for me than chasing maybe a buyout or anything like that. And I mean that with all respect that I can, because I know it's a tender subject for people who have sold and it being a good spot for them. It's just not the best for us.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's 3 ways to exit a business. You pass it along to a inheritance, a family member, you die and it just goes away, or you sell it. So, I mean, some people, like that's their end goal, is to build a business up to sell it. And there's nothing wrong with that. 100%.
Not at all. Not at all. And I totally understand that. People are like, always ask me what my why is. And the truth is, when people say, what is your why? 99% of the time, everyone's first thought is, well, my husband and my kids, but the truth is, my husband and my kids are always going to be my why. Whether I worked for this company or I work for someone else, I still have to feed them. They're always my why. And so our why really shifted into being this team and being able to see that I've got, a man standing right there. I can see through my office window. We're providing a career for his family. He was standing here so excited the other day about, being able to file his taxes and see the income that he made last year, how that has changed through the years. And knowing that he knew nothing about heat and air until he started here. And that's incredible to think that he's not in debt. He has no college debt. And he's able to be in a career that's sustainable and pandemic proof. And whether he's with us forever or not, he can do this gig forever.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. So this is something and I think all business owners struggle with this, is how do you make sure that you reflect on those things? So that way, because like the daily grind and all the things that are trying to grab your attention, you don't even reflect, and all of a sudden it's been 7 years and you've had a business. You're like, holy crap, we got this business and it's here. Look at how far we've come. Do you do anything that helps you reflect once in a while on like your team members or anything like that?
It's hard. It is, because you don't want to like gloat and you don't want to think you're doing better than you are. And then, I saw something on Facebook a while back that said, you are praying for something today while you are living a prayer that you had previously.
True. So
and
true.
I'm like, man, that's so true. And so I had to sit there and think, like, because it's so easy to be like, February sucks, right? And February. And so it's so easy to be like, man, February sucked. And like, what in the world? February is terrible, and that's just how it goes. But then I sat back and think, well, wait a second. February sucked, but it was not as bad as last February.
Holy cow, Cassie, let me explain to you how relevant the statement you just made. Like, all of February, my team has felt the wrath of Tersh. We didn't convert this job. And then one of my guys is like, would you put that pressure on me in June or July? Like, touche. Like, converting every single, and I'm like, but our overhead's still the same in February as it is in June and July.
Amen.
and I was looking at our dashboard, and I was like, man, like, stats, we grew 82% over last February. Like, I need to chill out a little bit about this.
You did, but you probably grew 82% in overhead over last February too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I did.
Right. I think the biggest thing for me and being able to like remember where we came from is my friends in the industry who keep me grounded and remind me like the good things, because sometimes the bad days outweigh the good in your brain. Like in reality, the bad day is nothing. And so I have just really made such a great network of friends through social media that are in this same business. Leslie Harpole was supposed to be on here with me today, and she's not. But man, that girl, I can message her day or night, and she'll bring me back down to reality, or tell and having resources like that are like vital for this, because you think like the people the people on your team, you think they get it for sure,
but they're not business owners.
Not from the business owner perspective, they don't.
Right.
Not at all. And so they don't get that burden. And so being able to have that conversation with other business owners is huge.
So Cassie, if your phone has been blowing up, or you might expect a call from Julie after this episode. I didn't want to skip over her comment. She is probably going to be asking you some questions about this to do it, because I know Tersh and Julie, Church has a local podcast. I know they serve on the chamber for their local Savannah and stuff like that. So I think this idea has gotten, just from the comments and stuff we've seen, a ton of really, really useful insight, because a lot of times people, they go on those groups and they're like, I need help with marketing. What does that mean? Like, you literally can go about 50 different directions. Right. What do you want to do? Well, and a lot of times I don't think people have any idea on what they want to do. They just like, someone help me. Here's some money.
So, what's funny about that is I used to be that same person. And there's this one marketing guy that I use. And if he's watching, he's going to laugh. I honestly, he's like we have a brother and sister relationship, probably, that we can literally, some days he's probably like, I don't even need you to be my customer. And there used to be a time that I would be like, I need you to do this for me. I need you to do, there's nothing that any of you in the marketing and field can do to pull out the vision of my company from me. You cannot get that. On the day-to-day, you can try and you can have the conversations, but unless you're in this building 5 days a week, you do not understand
that's a good point
of this company and the vision of this company. There's absolutely no way. And then, respectfully, with you guys in the digital community, you're serving me, but maybe also 30 other customers. And that's fine. That's what you need to do. You cannot keep us all straight. And so what I found was I used to be putting this expectation on my marketing companies of advertise me the way I want to be advertised, but not actually telling them how the heck to advertise me. And so I pulled back on that this year and I started making some changes there. But the biggest thing is making sure we're delivering to, we work with you, Josh, of like what we want what we want to look like on social media. I'm not the graphics people, or on our Google My Business or on our website. I'm not the graphics person, but I can tell you what I want it to look like. And then you help me bring that to life. Or I can tell you what we're doing today or what we're doing in the community. But if I'm not telling you that, how in the world are you going to know?
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. That communication aspect of it, it's definitely, we could dive into everything that you just said just now, we could dive in more rabbit holes about that. But honestly, to respect your time, we need to wrap this up. But I really appreciate you coming on and sharing this and sharing about the way you've grown through the trades and the community relationship building that you've done within the group, the Facebook groups and stuff. So, Josh, you have anything that you want to add there?
Hopefully we didn't add too much more to your probably already busy day and week with other people reaching out. I know you're very giving with your time, and I see stuff on social media. So I know you probably give even if you didn't do any of this, but I think you'll probably get some more questions after this actually goes live on our podcast stream.
Tag me. My camera. I don't know what happened.
Out of focus. Oh, you're good.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Feel free to message me. Anybody who's listening, I do not mind that whatsoever. Sometimes I will be slower. But hey, Dan, I'm so excited to see that one. I'm glad you popped in. I'm proud to be with a part of Dan's story for sure. And I hope he heard me say that.
We won't tell him the bad things you said. Don't worry. We'll edit that out.
All of the lessons that he's made me learn, and Dan's been such a vital part of me understanding what a brand really is, truly. And so, but really, I don't mind anyone reaching out, messaging me on Facebook, add me on Facebook. I'm here to help. Here's the deal: is until I found people like me to help me, I didn't know what in the world I was doing, and so. I'm not here to charge anyone anything. I just want to tell you what I'm doing, and if you can do it. You don't need my permission to put someone celebrate happy birthday on Facebook. I saw Stacy and Mike in Oklahoma City. They're an hour and a half away. I saw they posted one today. Like, they didn't need my permission to do that. I just had a wild idea and threw it on a billboard, and it worked. Now, if you're in Tulsa, I'm going to probably come.
So, Julie, you're safe.
You're safe. You're good. That's a great idea, and I think it's really just like, again, focus on not that those billboards aren't about us. That's a good point. Our name's on there, but we're really just trying to or meet our customers where they're at and celebrate them in those moments. Like I said, we announced a wedding. Like these people were not just their engagement, but like, hey, we're engaged and we're getting married in 3 days.
Wow.
Fun to be a part of. And so
That's awesome.
that was a cool experience.
Cassie, we appreciate it, and we appreciate everything that you do. If anybody has any questions, like she said, add her on Facebook and do your best not to screw up her name, especially when you're live.
Don't call her Casey.
Yeah.
But
But
call me Kathy. That happens a lot too.
again, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you everybody that's watching this. Has any questions? Don't hesitate. Reach out to any of us here. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful and safe day until we talk again next time on the Service Business Mastery Podcast. We'll see you.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Service Business Mastery. Now that you are equipped with essential business advice from this impactful conversation, you are one step closer to becoming the successful owner of your dreams. If this episode has been helpful to your business journey, don't forget to subscribe to the show, leave a rating, and share it with other owners as well. Visit servicebusinessmastery.com to learn more.